Sairam, welcome to the series on how to begin data analysis. This is Dr. Labani from Easy Biostat. In the earlier video, we covered the procedural aspects of how to perform students t-test for two groups, the manual analysis. Now in the present video, I will be demonstrating the same two sample t-test by using SPSS package, and in various windows how one enters data related to that, and what are the procedures for entry of data into the SPSS in such case, and how to read the output for whatever the SPSS output we get. How to begin data analysis. In this video, the hypothesis testing is going on, and I demonstrate using SPSS package how to perform student t-test for two means. So test of significance, a primary requirement is that the test variable its distribution aspect, whether it follows normal. So we use this for normal. So when the distribution follows normal, by assuming we'll be taking up under what conditions a distribution has normality, and there again there is an unpaired and paired setup. So this video will be covering on SPSS students t-test for unpaired data. Now, so regarding normality assumptions, some rules of thumb I am sharing with you. So when we plot histogram, an approximate bell shape can be taken as normality, and if you have knowledge of the parent population, means from which population the study individuals are drawn. So if that basic parent population is normality assumption is there already known, we can go ahead with that. So another rule of thumb is that standard deviation divided by mean. If you compute if it is less than half of the mean, standard deviation is less than half of the mean, then we can assume normality. So in addition that normality properties, mean, median, mode coincide. These are some important rules of thumb which we can easily assess and follow. Another rule of thumb is central limit theorem, that says that as sample size increases, the sampling distribution which we talked about in the confidence intervals. So so even if the underlying distribution, even if the parent population from where we drawn is non-normal, so if the sample size is large, so we can safely assume normality using this theorem. So now we'll be taking up in different videos this in the present one students t-test, and we take an example of comparison of means in two independent groups. Systolic blood pressure measured in diabetic and control groups. So each is a sample size of 25 we are going to consider, and the null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. Null hypothesis we assume no difference, and alternative hypothesis is there is a difference. Then this is the hypothetical data that we used in the demonstration for SPSS package. we'll be entering this data, group 1 for diabetic and group 2 control. Now data entry in the SPSS matters. So in this I would like to share with you, enter the data of SBP, systolic blood pressure, in a single column. So what we do is we mix up both diabetic and control values of SBP and write in a single column. And the first half is diabetic, and second how do you distinguish between them? So in order to do that, we create a new variable, a group identifier. So for diabetic I'll give 111, for control group I give 222 in the group identifier variable. So I create two variables here, SBP one variable numeric, and this is the variable view. And now we come to data view. So the data will look like this for SBP. And so if you see group identifier, so up to here 1111, up to here they belong to diabetic group. From here onwards they are control group. So in order to distinguish which measurement is to which group, so we have made the group identifier. So that is important in the case of test of significance in t-dist, two sample t-test in the SPSS. Now I go for analysis, then go to compare means, because I want to compare two means. Then I'll go to independent samples t-test. So once you press that, it will take you to the screen, drop down of independent samples t-test. So the SBP and group identifier you have. So SBP has to send here in the test variable, and group and identifier has to send here just by pressing arrow marks. Now this SBP has come here and group identifier has come here. Now in the group, what codes did you give? So that is define groups. So we have to press the define groups here, then we get a window here out of this, and then a sub drop down group, define groups. So I have given for diabetic I have given code 1, and control I gave code 2. So we have to mention that and press continue. Then you get 1 and 2 here displayed here. So the next step is OK, press OK to get SPSS output. So you have got the SPSS output. This is means and standard deviation in both groups, and the test of significance. You have two p values here, significance here and significance here. How to read that? Which one is my t-test significance, under what conditions I have to take? So if you see here, group 1 sample size reduced to n is equal to 99. As in my data entry, group status, whether it is a diabetic or control, in 6 cases it was missing. So I'm taking as it is 19 sample size for group 1 and 25 for group 2. Now I'll discuss one by one how to read the SPSS output. So the first one, group means. So if you see, this is for group 1, sample size 19, mean is 1.1279 E2. So how to read this? The BP reading is not is in three digits. Now it is giving E2, and there is no problem here in standard deviation or standard error. Similarly for this sample size and 1.16 E2. So that E2 is nothing but 10 square. So, and moreover we know that BP is normally distributed as per the its quality of the parent distribution. Another check is that HD by mean also have seen standard deviation 9.8 in the group 1 divided by mean. I'm getting much less than 0.5 which is a requirement less than or equal to 0.5 for a normal distribution. Now there is another assumption which is required for applying t-test is along with the normal equality of variances. You have seen standard deviations, so square of standard deviation is variances. So we have to compare the variance is comparable between the groups or not. So in order to do that, we will do an f-test, variance in group 1 divided by variance in group 2, which is called Leven's test for equality of variance, which we will see in the output SPSS output. So test not significant. Again, in case of f test is not significant, that means p value is less than 0.05, we assume equality of variances. Test is significant, the f test is significant, we do not assume equality, of variances. Now actually now you look at the other part of the output, which is significance after means. So here f test is performed, Leven's f test. This is significant, less than 0.05. So that means the equality of variances is rejected. So in this case, equality of variances cannot be assumed. So there are two options here. Under this option, equality of variances, you have got t-test and p-value, and equality variances not assumed, you have a t-value and p-value. So now we have to take equality of variances not assumed. So then we take this t-value and this degrees of freedom and this p-value. Though this p-value is not much different, overall both are not significant only, but in some places if this violates, this could be a problem. So as test f test is p less than 0.05, equality variance is not assumed, and take the corresponding t and significant p value as 0.98. This is what we have to observe from the SPSS output. So with this I thank you. See you again. Easy Biostat.